All right, y'all. Candace Owens triggers right-wing shitstorm with Erika Kirk exposed. This is evil. Let's get into this one, y'all. Hype the video up if you have some hypes to spare. Let's go.
Candace Owens is an evil, twisted human being.
Oh, damn.
You. Go yourself. You demonic scum.
Candace Owens is going to get Erika Kirk murdered.
But are you going to cry?
The gods have truly shined their light upon us today, my friends, because the entire right-wing grifter sphere is the most outraged they've been since Bud Light.
I like how he said that, the entire right-wing grifter sphere. I like how he said that. It got a certain ring to it. I love it, bro.
Decided to put a trans woman's face on a beer can. And the reason why they're angry is very, very funny. But why are they so apoplectic, you ask? Well, it's because Candace Owens decided to treat one of them the same way she's treated other people for years. And you see, they don't like getting a taste of their own medicine, so they're melting down as a result. And I personally find this hilarious because they're totally cool with innuendo and false allegations and conspiracy theories against their political opponents or just regular people when they think there's some political payoff for it. But now that Candace Owens is going after a sacred cow on the right, all of a sudden, they're concerned about facts and evidence. So Candace Owens released a trailer for her upcoming investigative docuseries about Erika Kirk titled Bride of Charlie, which I'm assuming is a reference to the movie Bride of Chucky, presumably because there's a striking resemblance between Erika Kirk and Chucky's wife. I mean,
damn. The resemblance is crazy, bro. I ain't gonna hold y'all. You can't tell me that they didn't make that doll in the likeness of Erika, but this doll was out before Erika. You would think they time traveled, looked at Erika and said, yeah, this is who we gonna make this after. This is crazy, dog. Bravo on the name choice, though, bro. That's an excellent name. I gotta give Candace credit when it's due, because that's an excellent what the fuck?
Don't blame me for it. Candace is the one who made that reference, but Candace makes it clear in this trailer that she's going after Erika Kirk hard. And here's a clip from that trailer.
Erika Kirk has been named the new CEO of Turning Point USA.
Oh
my husband's dead. Like, I'm not trying to be morbid, but he's dead.
It's weird to say excited.
Describes her husband's funeral as the event of the century. Merch, hats.
We have 50,000 plus hat orders.
Nobody knows why she's out there in a glittering pantsuit in a recreated tent that her husband tragically was murdered in, throwing merch out.
Everyone grieves differently, so if someone's acting weird, don't read into that.
Man, bro, I ain't gonna lie, dog. She look like she be on that adrenochrome. She look like she might be sacrificing some. You know what? I ain't gonna take it that far, goddammit. But y'all know where I'm getting at, bro. That lady do look evil, man. It remind me of the scene when she was looking at such and such when they brought up Candace's name. She was just staring at that death glare. If looks could kill, bro. Everybody who was watching her that day would be dead, bro. She looked like a pure evil woman that day. Y'all know the clip I'm talking about? I'll put it in here if y'all don't.
Zionists, the Prime Minister of Israel, all lied through their teeth about Charlie Kirk.
Her operation was in Constanta, the epicenter of Romania's trafficking scandal.
We are conversations to have with a 15-year-old. I'm gonna touch your butt.
$8.6 million to their own shell company. What is going on?
Money laundering?
My aunt used to tell me, never do something that you don't want on the front page of a newspaper.
Damn, Candace is crazy for this. And I've got to say that the clip of Jimmy Dore, that really sent me. That was a wonderful touch for Candace there. But in Candace's defense, Erika Kirk's behavior has been extremely fucking bizarre. Does that warrant a multi-part docuseries? No, I wouldn't necessarily say that. But Erika Kirk chose to be a public figure, and while that in no way justifies harassment towards her, all public figures are subjected to hyper scrutiny. And you're not going to get a pass just because your big break came out of tragic circumstances, especially if you keep doing things to make people question your motives. For example, people pointed out that Erika Kirk actually removed her and Charlie's wedding picture from the set while leaving basically everything else still in place. Like, that's...
Hey, bro, that's weird. I'm not gonna hold y'all. That's weird. When someone I know husband died, right? And for years and years and years, they didn't change nothing about that house. No photos was taken down, none of that stuff, because the person that I'm referencing actually loved their husband and mourned for real about their husband and didn't think about how to monetize her husband's death and shit like that and how to get clout off of it, bro. You know, it's interesting, dog. She removed that picture. That is crazy. Man, she ain't love that man for real, bro.
Really, really weird. And sure, people grieve differently, but most people would find that strange, I think. Even,
Definitely.
Given how differently people grieve. My dad died 6 years ago. I still haven't removed the picture of him that I have above my desk. I feel like that would be disrespectful almost to him, and I like seeing it. It reminds me of the good times that we had. Now again, Erika Kirk's odd behavior isn't evidence of some grand conspiracy like Candace is making it out to be, but when you decide to become a public figure, you have to understand that everything you do is going to be picked apart. And especially that's going to be the case when you're in this ecosystem where right-wing grifters get paid to pick every single thing apart. But conservatives seem to think that Erika deserves some permanent veto of all criticism because she was married to a white supremacist podcaster, but it just doesn't work that way.
Yeah, bro, they make me sick with that Charlie Kirk shit, dog. Like, in the grand scheme of things, he's a very unimportant person when you compare him to other people in human history. Let's just be for real. Like, people who are notable throughout human history, like, he can't even stand next to them under scrutiny. Dead ass serious. Like, they really overhyped this man so much. They made it seem like he was some type of civil rights activist or some shit. No, bro, you was a white supremacist. That's what you were.
And Candace is just doing what she's always done. She hasn't changed. Everybody else has changed. The only reason why conservatives suddenly take issue with her antics is because she's going after one of their own. See, when Candace Owens was transvestigating Bridget Macron for years, that was totally fine. When Candace Owens released a propagandistic piece slandering George Floyd, who was murdered by a cop on camera, they never clutched their pearls and accused her of going too far, even though, unlike Erika Kirk, George Floyd never asked to be a public figure and he isn't even here to defend himself. But that didn't matter to conservatives. In fact, the same people criticizing her now actually promoted her hit piece on a murder victim, like the Daily Wire. But fast forward to today, and both of the Daily Wire's co-founders are accusing Candace of being, quote, evil for targeting Erika Kirk.
Quick side note, at least once a day I get a comment or an email asking, how do I do this YouTube thing? How do I make reaction videos? If you're interested in making money on YouTube and not just arguing in the comment sections, I run a private YouTube growth group. We do weekly calls, live channel audits, and you get to see how other creators are making money, plus how I got this channel to where it's at 37,000 today when it only had 3,000 in October, and how I plan on making this channel go to 100K before the end of the year. Link in the description. Yeah, bro, they straight hypocrites, dog. And I remember a few instances where people on the right were still justifying George Floyd's death, even after reading the reports from the doctor saying that it was not drugs in his system that caused him to die. It was the fact that that man's knee was on his neck. That was the cause of death. And they don't believe it, even though people who are much smarter than them, who put the case through trial, conclusively said that that's what it was. They still say, nah, it was the drugs. And even if it wasn't, he was a criminal, so therefore it justifies itself. He's a criminal. Who cares about a criminal being murdered? Hypocrites, man.
So in case you're not keeping up, it's A-okay for Candace Owens to go after a black man who was murdered, but she's crossing the line by going after a white woman whose white supremacist podcaster husband was murdered. It almost seems like Candace Owens was only useful to them when she was attacking black people at their behest, but now that the tables are turned, they're crying foul. That's interesting, isn't it? Well, here's what I say. What's good for the goose is good for the gander, and they're now forced to deal with the monster of their own making, and they fucking hate dealing with the monster of their own making. And by they, I mean basically every single conservative podcaster dickhead in the right-wing ecosystem who is undoubtedly pissed off at what Candace Owens is doing now, but would have cheered her on if, she chose somebody that they felt was a more deserving target. But let's get to some of these examples of outrage here because they were not happy. For example, Laura Loomer says none of his so-called friends are standing up for his poor wife, Miss Erika Kirk, as she's viciously attacked. Charlie thought he had friends. He had leashes. If Charlie had friends, they would be standing up for him. Charlie and I sparred at times over his nonstop gatekeeping and holier-than-thou attitude at times. I love how she's shit-talking Charlie as she's trying to defend his wife. But I would never be so depraved as to attack his widow. This is sick and twisted. You'd attack him now that he's not here to defend himself, though, right? Mark Levin says, Candace Owens is a monster. Those who defend her are monsters. Those with platforms who are silent are useless cowards. Robbie Starbuck says,
Hey, man, as he's reading this, it's kind of it has me thinking about, like, so many people that I know who really be like, yo, nah, man, these people, they really rock with me, bro. Nah, they don't rock with you for real. They only rock with you while you tap dancing for them. The moment you stop the tap dancing, them rocking with you turns to them throwing stones at you, rocks at you per se. And it's no real loyalty to you. It's just that you're speaking the language that they want to hear at the moment. And when you cut that off, their true colors are going to be shown. And Candace and so many others are now experiencing this.
This is wildly disturbing and inappropriate. What Candace is doing is indefensible and deeply dishonors Charlie's memory. Erika was the love of his life and the mother of his children. He's not here to defend her in a way that he'd want to. He would have gone to war over this. Cat Turd even chimed in saying Candace Owens is pure evil. She's a demon straight from the bowels of hell. That's a little melodramatic. Just the sight of her makes me gag. Listening to her arrogant cringe voice is like nails on a chalkboard. Gunther Eagleman says, whether you are a Candace fan or not, this is evil. Jordan Peterson's daughter says, thought I'd chime in, although it's obvious that this is demonic. Mean high school girl tactics taken to the next level. TikTok is rife with millennial mothers gleefully enjoying this. It's so embarrassing to be female sometimes. I swear we're all not that dumb. Well, I don't think that anybody was saying that, but thank you for pointing that out, Michaela. Pastor Greg Locke says, this is what happens when bitterness is all you drink. I've warned and warned, but people refuse to listen. Real Candace Owens is an extremely evil person. She's bent on destruction. I don't care what you think about Erika Kirk. This is out of bounds. Emily Schrader says, I don't care if you are left or right. If you like Charlie Kirk or think he was awful, if you love Erika or hate Erika, this is beyond the pale of anything that should be accepted in society. Oh, that's rich coming from a fucking conservative. It's targeted harassment, bullying, and incitement against a grieving mother of young children at a level I don't think YouTube should be permitting. Oh, censorship, trying to get her deplatformed. Megan McCain says,
hey, man, you want to call for censorship all of a sudden, but that's the biggest complaint y'all be having, man. It's fake news. All of these news people are saying this and that and all of that, but you want them people to shut up because they're not saying the things you want to be heard. Dog, the hypocrisy has to chill, man. If it ain't coming from Fox News, bro, they want it censored.
Pure, unadulterated fucking evil. Who in God's name would put a woman whose husband was brutally assassinated in front of the entire world through this? I'm so upset by this. I'm just so deeply sorry Erika and her family have to be put through this. Dave Rubin chimed in saying, is it true that Megyn Kelly is the executive producer? Did Tucker fund this with his Qatari money made off of the backs of Christian slaves? Just asking questions. Got him, Dave. E.L. Jacoby says, looking at the speakers of AM Fest and seeing which are too cowardly to defend Erika Kirk. Jack Posobiec, silent. Benny Johnson, silent. Steve Bannon, silent. Megyn Kelly, silent. Tucker Carlson, silent. Who did I miss? And last but not least, and probably my favorite, Seth Dillon of the Babylon Bee says, imagine being Erika Kirk for a moment. You've lost your husband while your children are still young, and not by natural causes or some tragic accident, but by assassination for defending his values. And
what values are you talking about, sir? White supremacist values?
And while you're pressing on despite your mourning, one of your husband's so-called friends begins attacking you instead of the man responsible to do as much harm to you and Charlie's organization as possible. And on top of that, as difficult as it is to believe, people who claim to be your friend who spoke on Charlie's stage and attended his funeral are suddenly nowhere to be found. They sit quietly on the sidelines, keeping a safe distance, hoping none of the arrows will come their way. Imagine how deeply that betrayal must hurt, how much it compounds the pain you're already suffering. You can't actually imagine it. There's no precedent for it. You'll never experience anything like it in your life.
Oh, shut your crybaby ass up, man. It's not that deep, man.
That was probably my favorite response because it made it apparent to me that, oh, Candace Owens is somehow teaching conservatives empathy. Us lefties have been trying to do this for years and we got nowhere. But with the release of a single trailer, Candace Owens achieved what no one else could. She got them to put themselves in the shoes of somebody else. Look, that's honestly impressive. Now, whether or not they'll stick to this new empathetic approach is a different story, because like if you swap out Erika Kirk with Renee Good's wife or the family of Abrigo Garcia, would they still be able to put themselves in their shoes? Of course not, but baby steps, right? This is the first step to potentially being a little bit more empathetic in the future. But as you can see, most conservatives were outraged over this, but nobody was more outraged than Dan Bongino and Ben Shapiro, because they talked about the trailer on camera and you could see how affected they were. Like when I say affected, I mean Dan Bongino looked like he was on the verge of tears over this trailer. And you got a taste of that at the beginning of this video, but that was just an appetizer. Now I'm going to give you the full entree.
Imagine sitting there in your house and you find out from Twitter or, I don't know, a text or a phone call, or that your husband was just shot in the neck for the entire world to see on social media in a public event.
Crazy word.
I can't imagine that. I know you can't either. Then you got to go through this. Then you got a bunch of...
Say it. You know you'd want to say it. Just say it.
Absolute fucking lunatics sending her emails. You did it. Comments, tweets. Fuck you. Fuck you. Fuck you. Go fuck yourself. You demonic fucking scum.
Oh my God.
And I'm sorry if the language distracts from you, but I can think of no other New York way to say it than fuck you, motherfuckers. You deserve to feel the little licks of the flames of hell on every inch of your body.
You talking about what was the same shit he feeling right now at the moment, most likely? That what you talking about? That's wild.
Fuck you.
Man, this nigga here need to shut his crybaby ass up.
If there's an afterlife, oh, and I believe there is. I believe in the second creation. I don't pretend to be the judge and jury, but I know you're not in it.
Hey, Dan, I know that you're probably not going to see this because you have me blocked, but I still have to ask, where was this energy for any of the elite pedophiles that you covered up for as deputy director of the FBI? We didn't get a fraction of this anger and empathy for any of Epstein's victims, not to mention Trump's accusers. In fact, you lied to the public to defend these elite pedophiles. Where was your righteous indignation back then? I just can't with these people. It's so hard for me to take conservatives seriously when it comes to issues relating to morality, because these are the most morally bankrupt people in the fucking world who spend 99.9% of their days thinking of new ways to make life worse for most people on the planet. So spare me the fake fucking outrage. But I do want to dive deeper into Ben Shapiro's monologue, because he seemed genuinely shocked by Candace Owens' actions. Like I
just can't listen to Ben Shapiro, bro. Like, it's something about the nasally tone of his voice and how fast he speaks and how locked in he stays. It's like something's mentally off with the dude, man.
Couldn't fathom how a human being could be this cruel. I mean, watching a genocide unfold for 2.5 years wasn't shocking at all to him, but a trailer for a hit piece on the widow of a white supremacist, that is shocking behavior to him, and he just can't believe that anybody could possibly be so cruel.
Candace has spent the last several months attacking the widow of Charlie Kirk, Erika Kirk. It took her just a few days after Charlie's sick murder in order to start casting aspersions at Turning Point USA, people who work there all the way up to the highest levels, up to and including Erika Kirk. She was doing that very, very quickly, and she'd been doing it for months. She came out with something that she had announced she was doing.
This nigga really speaks at 2x speed, man. I usually speed up YouTube videos, man. He's already at the 2x speed, man. Slow your ass down, bro. You know they saying, older black folks got a saying, bro, like, you saying a lot, but you ain't saying nothing. You get what I'm saying? That's what he does.
Which is a series. This is a trailer for a series, a teaser trailer that is titled Bride of Charlie, which is supposedly now an expose on the evil, nefarious, predatory nature of Erika Kirk, the widow of Charlie Kirk, who again was shot in the neck not by some sort of vast conspiracy involving French intelligence and Egyptian airplanes, but by a trans-loving gay man who is a furry. Because Candace Owens is either going through the throes of mental illness or because she is a sick human being, or both, she has decided that she is going to turn her fire on the widow. Don't believe me? I know. Listen, there are a lot of people.
Bro, I'm sorry. I'm about to interrupt it because I got to say this, man. This dude be playing the victim so much, right? And my thing is this. If he takes that hat off and doesn't tell anyone who he is, how would we know, or how would anyone know to say mean things about what you believe in? You look like the rest of white society. With us minorities, it's clear as day that we different, right? So in other words, what I'm saying is, you know how they have the anti-Semitism and all of that kind of stuff? How would anyone even know how to do that or to do it to you if you just take off that hat? You take off that hat and you're just another white person, bro. It's crazy to me, bro. It's crazy to me, dog. Like, there's really nothing to discriminate against you with if you take off that. Like, no one would know what you are, bro.
People who listen to Candace, she has a huge audience. This is what she does. This is who she is. She is a conspiratorial, evil person, because that's who would do something like this. A conspiratorial, evil person. Apparently, she is calling Erika Kirk, she has been calling Erika Kirk a lesbian pedophile grooming a 15-year-old. She is suggesting, of course, she has been suggesting for a while, that TPUSA was complicit, if not in the murder of Charlie Kirk, then in the cover-up of the murder of Charlie Kirk. This is the stuff that Candace Owens has been doing. Because Candace Owens is a true vampire when it comes to conservatism and the conservative movement. She finds prominent people, and then she grifts off of them, and then she does more grifting off of them, and then she grifts them until she's done grifting them. Then she moves on to the next thing she can grift off of. Candace drives huge numbers through slandering people, truly slandering them.
Good, keep slandering them, man.
And yes, Erika Kirk absolutely should sue the living hell out of Candace Owens for this sort of stuff.
Oh, the irony. See, slandering people is absolutely terrible. That is, unless, of course, it's directed at George Floyd. If that's the case, then Ben Shapiro's outlet, The Daily Wire, will publish and promote that slander. And if George Floyd's family decided to sue over that, something tells me that Ben Shapiro would not support that lawsuit. Because, see, these tactics are only acceptable to the right insofar as they are directed at appropriate targets. See, the right collectively decided that they were going to blame the entire LGBTQ community for Charlie Kirk's murder, but Candace Owens is throwing a wrench in their plans, and that's why they're so upset. Because all of these lies were supposed to be directed towards innocent queer people, but since they're now being directed at one individual with power and money, they don't like that. It's not the right target. See, and they're also mad that their propaganda pales in comparison to Candace's. So they're crying victim and they're resorting to outrage because they don't know how else to respond to their own tactics being used against them. But to be fair to them, look, if I were a soulless right-winger, I never would be, but if I were, I would be pissed off too, because Candace Owens really is doing some damage. Like, she's sowing division on the right, and as a leftist, you love to see it. But having said that, I do understand why they're mad. It's not just that, you know, she's dividing the right. She is literally delegitimizing one of the most powerful conservative interest groups in the country. And as Will Summer of The Bulwark reports, some of the staffers at TPUSA are buying into her conspiracy theories about Charlie Kirk's death. One was Aubrey Leitch, who posted a video claiming that they were fired for questioning the narrative surrounding Charlie Kirk's death. But that employee wasn't the only one because, quote, Leitch is just one of several Turning Point staffers who has been fired amid what's been dubbed a purge of employees. While it's not clear how many have been let go, Owens has played audio on her show of another staffer who claimed to have been fired without explanation. Owens also claimed that a TPUSA executive showed up at a third staffer's home to fire her and demand the immediate return of her company devices. Now, Summer says that the inside information is an indication that Candace is obviously getting staffers to leak information about Turning Point to her, and even though she got a cease and desist from the organization back in January, she hasn't stopped. I mean, she momentarily made it seem like she was going to cool it after she had a private meeting with Erika Kirk, but once her audience accused her of being paid off, she went right back to milking these conspiracy theories. So you can understand why the right is pissed off, because she's doing real damage to the conservative movement, not only by dividing them, but by discrediting one of their most prominent organizations. And to that I say, thank you, Candace. Thank you very much. continue. And between her and Nick Fuentes encouraging Republicans to not vote, you might question whether or not the Republican Party has been infiltrated by ops who are deliberately trying to destroy the movement from within, but I can assure you that is not the case. Trust me, Democrats are not savvy or competent enough to pull off a subterfuge campaign that sophisticated. I think that the most likely explanation is that conservatives have conditioned people to just think that every single thing ever is a conspiracy theory, and if that's the case, you know, at a certain point, that snake is going to eat its own tail. So in my opinion, this is an example of conservatives lying in the beds that they made for themselves. When you get people to ignore facts and empirical data and reality and base their worldview purely on hate and emotions, at some point, it's going to come back to bite you in the ass. And
hey, bro, that's one thing that they love to do over there on that side, bro. They love to ignore facts and empirical data. They will literally tell me something and source a site, a page, an article to prove their point. I can come back and say XYZ and cite one of the same sources that they mentioned earlier, and they be like, nah, I ain't buying that. They could have used the FBI as their source, and then I turn around and do the FBI, and they be like, nah, I ain't going for that. I've literally had people do that to me before.
That is exactly what we're seeing right now. The chickens have finally come home to roost for conservatives, and I'd be lying if I said I wasn't thoroughly enjoying all of this, because I sure the fuck am. But in closing, I'm going to leave you with a skit from Erika, played by drag queen Lauren Banal, because it was conservatives, after all, who said that comedy was legal again under the Trump regime. And since conservatives spent the last 4 years shitting on queer people, it's only fair to let LGBTQ people kick conservatives now that they're down for once. Besides, I also thought it was funny and I couldn't really find another way to shoehorn this clip into a different video, so enjoy.
On the cross, our Savior said, Father, forgive them, for they not know what they do.
Fuck, does look like her. Damn, she a better Erika Kirk than Erika Kirk.
That are putting these lies out into the world right now. Stop.
That's the eyes I be telling y'all about when they mention Candace, bro. This the face she made, bro.
That's it.
Crazy work, man. Shout out to the Humanist Report, man. Hope y'all enjoyed this video. Don't forget to hype the video if you got hypes to spare. I'm gonna get at y'all on the next one.